When you're ready, come on over to your yoga mat. We'll start laying down, maybe in Shavasana today, with your arms and legs extended. Maybe grabbing a pillow or something to place underneath your head or maybe underneath your knees. If it feels uncomfortable to lay flat, you can always bend your knees and rest your knees together in constructive rest pose. Might try a couple different hand or arm positions until you get cozy. And go ahead and take a couple of sighing breaths, making some sound if you'd like, just kind of letting out all the extra junk from the day. Maybe taking a couple rounds like that, inhaling and sighing or making kind of a sound. There's sort of, is it on the Grinch where I don't remember. Someone was dressed up as the Grinch and they're in a yoga class and they're like, sigh it out. And then I think the Grinch was like yelling. Feel free to yell like the Grinch in your own space if that feels right. Maybe closing your eyes, relaxing your shoulders and your back, noticing your jaw, unclenching your jaw. And even if your eyes are closed, just roll or circle your eyes around in both directions a couple of times. Seeing if that can feel a little bit relieving. And then feeling restful again at some point. Start to tune into the flow of your breath. Keeping all of the muscles of your face, your jaw, your neck nice and relaxed with each breath. And draw the air down lower for a diaphragmatic breath, letting your belly rise with your inhales. And soften with your exhale. Even less effort. To settle into a pace of breath, possibly expanding your inhales and exhales along the way as you become more relaxed. And breathing in and out through your nose if that's available to you. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for your practice, feel free to bring something or someone to mind. Five more breaths. When you're ready, starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe letting your head rock side to side. Circling ankles and wrists here. Let's reach into a long body stretch, arms and legs reaching and stretching in opposite directions, maybe continuing to circle your ankles and wrists. Ooh, maybe a nice yawn. And then let's draw both knees in toward the chest here. And keeping your head and shoulders on the ground, just taking some free movement, some rocking of the knees, maybe circling of your knees, massaging out your low back, sacrum, etc. And then we will let the left leg go long. Let's grab hold of just the right knee or right shin. You can always bend your left knee a little bit if that helps your comfort. Otherwise, maybe straightening or almost straightening your left leg. Just keep hugging your right knee in toward that right side of your chest or your right armpit kind of area. And try to smooth out any effort from that's unnecessary. So, like in your face, sometimes I'm like squeezing my face, just checking in. Of course, your arms are working, holding your knee in, but anything that doesn't need to be working, just gonna see, check around. And then grabbing hold behind your right thigh. Let's bend and straighten that right knee a couple of times, letting that right leg rise up into the air, bending and straightening. Can we circle your ankle a little bit more? Okay, and then keeping the knee bent again, let's take a twist. So crossing that right leg over toward the left side of your mat. Your right arm could reach wide, maybe turning to look in the opposite direction of that twisted knee, so over to the right. Paying special attention to how the breath fills your body in this twist. And then with our last couple of breaths, let's turn our head to the left with the inhales. And slowly turn your head to the right with your exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale as you make your way, your gaze over to the left. And exhale over to the right. Coming back to center, let's bring the knee back up and in, coming to the center of your mat. Straightening out your right leg now. Let's grab hold of the left shin, left knee. We're just going to pulling in on this side, taking a few moments to find that kind of play between effort and ease. Lots of effort in some places, lots of ease in others. And then gripping behind the left thigh. Let's bend and straighten that left knee a couple of times. Moving that left foot however feels good to do. Just love the circle, point and flex. This is really good for our circulation as well. Okay, and then re-bending that left knee. Let's twist that left leg across the body over toward the right. Reaching your left arm out to the left if you want to. Find a comfortable place to rest, maybe grabbing some props if you'd like your legs cushioned up. Noticing the breath again here, especially in twists, it just is so much easier, in my opinion, to notice what goes on. The bigger the breath that I take, the more my body kind of comes out of the twist. And I just find it to be so satisfying from an internal perspective. Check it out, see if there's anything there for you. And with our last 3 breaths, we'll do the little head turn again. So inhale, looking to the left. And exhale, turning the gaze to the right. Inhale to the left. Exhale, right. One more time. Inhale, left. And exhale, right. Come back to the center. If you want to take another long body stretch or anything else here, now is your chance. We're going to head up to a seat next. I saw a little trick here with yoga with Adrienne, actually. If you know her, she's on YouTube. You can bring your knees in toward your chest and then see if you can grab hold of opposite feet. So you're kind of in a cross-legged, you're like holding yourself in a cross-legged hip position. And then you can just rock on up to your seat. I just thought that was cool. Give it a try if you'd like. Otherwise, turning onto either side and then pressing up to a comfortable seat. We'll tent the fingers off to the side, sitting up nice and tall, reaching up to the crown of your head and slightly tucking your chin. Retracting the chin just a little bit so the back of your neck feels long and spacious. With an inhale, let's reach both hands high. Exhale, side bend to the right. Right hand lowers to the ground, left arm reaches. Inhale, come up to the center. We're going to switch sides each time. Exhale, side bending to the left hand plants, right arm reaches. Continue inhaling as you lift, and then exhaling as you bend, side bend to the other side. Follow your own flow of breath. A couple more rounds through. And since we started on the right, we'll make sure to end on the left here at some point. And when you are done with that, go ahead and come to hands and knees, cat and cow. So hands more or less below the shoulders, knees below the hips. With your inhale, cow pose, belly lowers, gaze and tailbone start to lift. If you want, you can breathe and stay here, maybe kind of rocking side to side through the shoulders or the hips. And then eventually using an exhale to round up to cat. So tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone now, lifting through the spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Feel free to add on any other little additional movements or explorations here. Kind of nice to bend the elbows or let your head kind of hang. All right, let's come forward to lay on the stomach, lowering your weight down. We're going to keep the hands planted for now. If it's comfortable, you could rest your forehead on the floor or on a block or something else. You could even stack your forearms and rest your head on top. So find a comfy place there, resting your head. With an inhale, we're going to lift. We're going to keep the right leg straight and just lift it straight up so you can feel the back of your right leg, that right glute, really working to lift the right leg. And then exhale, lower that right leg back down, keeping it straight. Switching sides, inhale, left leg lifts up behind you. Keep pointing that left foot. And then exhale, lower. Let's do it again. Inhale, right leg lifts. Just a couple inches. And exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg lifts. And exhale, lower. This time we're going to keep our feet planted and do that same kind of thing with our arms. So straightening your arms up in front of you or out to the sides if that feels better on your shoulders. We'll start with both hands down. You can keep resting your head on something. I'm gonna try a block under my head. Okay, so feet stay down this time. Inhale, right arm reaches and lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, lower. Same thing here. Inhale, lifting the right arm. And exhale, lower. Left arm lifts. Inhale. Left arm lowers. Exhale. Take a breath here. Just rest. So with the arms reaching out in front of you, take a breath in. Exhale, like you're doing cactus arms or like a little baby back bend. We're just going to cactus the arms back, so we're pulling it back. Inhale, straighten your arms, sweep your arms forward toward the top of your mat. Exhale, cactus the arms, pull it back, feel your shoulder blades. Inhale, reach your arms out wide, swimming the hands back up toward the top. And exhale, pull the shoulder blades back. And then lower down, rest here for one nice long breath in. And breath out. Inhale, press your way on up to tabletop. And with an exhale, leisurely making your way back to child's pose. Your knees could come out wide toward the edges of your mat, big toes touching behind you. It feels really nice to kind of prop yourself up on your forearms or walking your hands out toward the top of your mat, sinking your head and heart toward the floor. Feeling some expansive diaphragmatic breaths here. I feel like this is the best pose for diaphragmatic breaths. It just feels so focused. All right, coming on up to table. Let's find our way to our first downward facing dog. Let's take our sweet time getting there today. Curling the toes under, maybe just kind of rocking back on the toes a couple times first, stretching out the feet. So kind of curling your toes under, stretching back and forth a couple times. Oh, that feels nice. Eventually picking up your knees and coming to that nice A-frame shape, downward dog. Reaching through the shoulders. Find your breath here. With your inhale, come on up to your tippy toes. And exhale, lower your heels down toward the floor. Inhale, rising to the tippy toes. Exhale, lowering your heels down. Spend the rest of the time here, maybe pedaling out your legs or in another way, just getting used to your downward dog. And then we'll start to make our way to the top of the mat for ragdoll, forward fold, walking your hands up. You could let your upper body hang loose here, letting your arms dangle or grabbing opposite elbows. Maybe bending really deep into your knees and straightening a couple of times. Make sure your breath is flowing. If it's easy for you to touch the floor, cool. If not, let's grab blocks. And then we'll walk the hands and the blocks over toward the left side of your mat. And just kind of sink back toward the right glute, getting a little bit of a side twist and stretch. And eventually walking your hands on over toward the right side of the mat, staying in that nice twist or kind of pushing back now into that left glute. Checking in with the neck, letting your neck be loose. And then coming back to the center, bend your knees a little deeper, start to rise up slowly, maybe walking your hands up your legs. Any adjustments, your clothing or whatever when you get to the top. Then we'll get a little shakeout going, maybe a little lift and lower of your heels to start with, getting that nice deep bounce happening through the tissues of your body. You could do it a little more freestyle and just kind of wiggle, shake it out, listening to whatever wants to move. Maybe a couple little hops. All right. And then come on up to the top of your mat when you're ready, finding some stillness, taking a look at your feet, finding a nice solid foundation, and then flipping your palms to face the front of your space. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Kind of taking a few breaths here, collecting your thoughts. And remembering that intention if you set one today. With an inhale, reaching arms high, gaze might follow, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, stepping both feet back, high plank. One breath in. And then exhale, knees lower, chest lowers. Inhale, right leg lifts behind us, just the right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg lifts behind us. Exhale, lower. One more breath in, rest. And out. Inhale, press your way up, tabletop. And exhale to child's pose. 3 breaths here. One more breath. Inhale, rise up, tabletop, grabbing onto those blocks. And exhale, downward dog. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Last breath in here. And last breath out. Okay, we're gonna lift the left leg up, 3-legged down dog. You can always keep your leg down if 3-legged dog isn't for you, or lift that left leg up behind you. With an exhale, step just the left foot forward. Bending into that left knee. With an inhale, let's rise up. High lunge. Exhale, baby back bend, cactus the arms. Expand through the collarbones. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, cactus the arms, spread or reach through the collarbones. One more time, inhale, reaching high. Exhale, cactus the arms. Let's bring the hands back down to the blocks. We're going to end up in skandasana, or side lunge, or side squat toward the back of the mat. So we're walking the blocks around the right side and bending into that right knee. You can stay lifted a little higher here and maybe pull the left toes up off of the floor, getting a nice stretch through the inner leg. If your knees might allow and not hurt, you could go down a little deeper. I have to remind myself to keep a little bend in my left knee. If you're hypermobile, just engaging your muscles at your end range or less. Okay, and then we're now going to end up facing the back of the mat in a lunge. So the right leg is down and the left or the right leg's in front. Plant your hands on your blocks. Step your right foot back, three-legged down dog. And exhale, step your right foot right back forward. Inhale, rising up, right knee is bent. Woo. Exhale, little back bend, cactus the arms, reach through the chest. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, little back bend. Last time like that, inhale, lifting high. And exhale, back bend. Bring your hands down to your blocks. Walk your hands to the back side of, Skandasana to the left side this time. Feels so good through the inner leg there. Keeping that micro bend of the knee, elbows. And then we're turning to face the front edge of the mat. Step your right foot forward, forward fold. Kind of complicated. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen out through your spine, reach through your neck. And exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, rise on up, pressing your feet down into the floor, joining hands overhead. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. Take a few moments. Practicing coming to that inner reserve, that little space within you that just remains unbothered. That really wise place where things are peaceful and kind. Breathing there, growing, and tending to that intention you set. Let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh to release. Inhale, hands go high. And exhale, hold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step both feet back, high plank for just one breath in. And then exhale, knees lower, chest lowers. This time we're going to add our two parts together. So the arms will reach out toward the top of your mat, or you can keep them bent or reaching out toward the sides. It'll be a little less of challenge on the shoulders. So just find your right kind of range there. If you can, let your head rest on something. I think I might try that block again under the forehead. Legs straight, arms straight. So we're going to do opposite limbs. So with an inhale, lift the right arm and the left leg. Reaching long as you breathe here. Let's hold, reaching through the right fingertips, reaching through the left toes. One more breath in. And exhale, lower down, resting for a breath or two. Take your time before switching. Eventually, with an inhale, lifting your left arm and right leg, staying lifted and reaching through the fingers and toes. And exhale, lower down. Let's go one breath to one move. Inhale, right arm and left leg lift. Exhale, lower. Strong breath here. Inhale, left arm and right leg lift. Exhale, lower. One last time on each side. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And exhale, lower. Crocodile pose for a couple breaths. You could stack your forearms or fists underneath your forehead as you let your heels splay out to the sides. And in your own way, making your way to child's pose, or staying up through tabletop or something like it. We'll just have 2 breaths there in child's pose. All right, rising up, tabletop, grabbing your blocks, and exhale, last downward dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last breath in and out. Inhale, bend both of your knees, look up toward the top of your mat, but with your exhale, walk your hands and your blocks to the back of your mat, maybe making a little seat for yourself, finding your way to a squat. You could come down to like the Malasana squat with your elbows pressing into the edges of your knees. You could come up a little higher and kind of work with that nice sumo squat. Maybe a little of both. Oh, it feels so good. Sort of puff the chest up here if you're in that deep squat. Two more breaths. Eventually, coming out of this squat, rising on up to stand. And joining hands at heart center, finding those few moments to bring it all back in. Let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and sigh to release. All right, lowering your hands. We'll do one of our classic balancing series to get all the way up to the front of the mat. So let's shift our center of gravity over the right leg. Start to find one-legged mountain pose with your left knee lifting, maybe a little, maybe a lot. It's up to you. Getting used to this here. Inhale. Exhale, straighten that left leg. Inhale, lift. Ooh, that was hard to stay balanced there. And then exhale, straighten your left leg, touch your left heel down to the ground, and step onto that left foot. Inhale, right or arms and right leg lift, one-legged mountain. Exhale, airplane pose, pushing that right foot back, maybe to find the floor or the wall behind you. Arms sweep back. Always hold on to a chair or a couch with your hands. That feels so nice. And eventually making your way back up, keeping that right leg lifted if you can. Exhale, straighten your right leg. Inhale, bend and lift. Exhale, straighten. Touch your right heel down, step into the right foot. Inhale, arms reaching forward, left knee lifting. Exhale, airplane. You know the sequence. We'll do that one more time on each foot. So take your time or hurry up. It's up to you. Come back up. Keep that left knee lifted if you can. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten, taking a baby step forward into that left foot. Inhale, arms and right knee lift. Exhale, airplane. I'm telling you, reaching towards the wall in this, holding onto a chair. So good. Making your way back up, right knee comes on in. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lift the right knee one more time. Exhale, straighten. Touching down to that right heel one last airplane. So with your inhale, left knee and arms lift high. Exhale your version of airplane. Take your time here. I'll eventually end up just standing up at the top of the mat. Tadasana, letting your body have a chance to kind of catch up. Good, good. If there's anything else you want to do while we're standing here, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to head to the wall next. I'm going to bring a blanket. If you have a pillow or something, I'm going to have my low back, my seat kind of up on this blanket today. So if you haven't done like at the wall before, I'll give you a little tip on how to get into it. You can, of course, put your legs up on a chair so that your knees are bent and like your calves are up on a chair, seat, or couch. Especially if you have high blood pressure, that can be a nice variation. And we're just sitting the left or whatever. We're sitting one of the hips close to the wall and leaning back as we get those legs up there. It's a little bit of adjustment, maybe scooting a little closer to the wall or maybe a little farther away from the wall. You can keep your knees bent. See if you can kind of tuck your shoulder blades in so they're comfortable. Your arms could reach wide, or maybe find that cactus-like pose with the arms, the elbows bent. If you have a Fitbit on or something like that, check your heart rate at the start here and then at the end, just seeing how much this pose and this kind of rest can lower that rate. So as we rest here in this pose, gravity is doing all of the hard work for us. The best thing we can do is give our body energy and fuel simply by taking deep breaths. Maybe being extra mindful to extend your exhales. Just seeing how that extended exhale just helps at least temporarily melt away that stress. If your legs start to feel uncomfortable at all, you can bend your knees. Feel free to stay right here or join me in exploring legs going wide, like a V with the legs. I like to kind of hold my legs up in this one, bringing my elbows down to the floor and then kind of pressing into my thighs. Just feels safer to me. You could kind of experiment here with externally rotating your hips, or kind of if your thigh was a steering wheel, steering your left thigh to the left, steering the right thigh to the right. Play with that for a few moments. starting to put your legs back up the wall. Go ahead and bend your knees and press your feet into the wall. Finding a squat here. You might hold onto your thighs or your knees. You could maybe toe heel your feet out wider for a wider squat, or maybe toe heel your feet in a little closer for a little more pressure there through all those lymph nodes. Right there at the top, kind of between the low belly and the top of the thighs. Holding any kind of squat here. And again, even though it's kind of an intense, more of an intense feeling pose, squatting down, see if we can find that feeling in the body where it's still okay. It's not too much effort. Let gravity do the heavy lifting. You're welcome to stay right here in your squat, or about bringing the soles of your feet together up on the wall there, letting your knees go out wide. If you have blocks close by, you could set up some kind of little support for your thighs or your knees, or maybe just propping them up with your hands again. Your feet could you kind of scoot your feet in closer to your body or a little farther away. You might kind of press your knees toward the wall, as long as that feels nice. And again, mindful breathing. If legs up the wall, any of those variations feel like a nice way to end your class today, you could stay here at the wall or at your chair. Otherwise, we'll start to make our way towards our final rest. Shavasana, maybe bringing your knees together, rolling onto either side, and just moving like you're kind of sleepy. We're not too rigid here. We're just getting all set up for our final rest. Grabbing a blanket or something if you would like. And settling back in. Maybe tucking your shoulder blades back in. Maybe supporting your neck a little bit. A blanket. Have a quote to share, something your brain to and your heart to gnaw on as you rest. It is a quote from Henry David Thoreau from Walden. To be awake is to be alive. I have never yet met a man who is quite awake. How could I have looked him in the face? We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us in our soundest sleep. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. Infinite expectation of the dawn. Shavasana means corpse pose. Just letting those pieces of you that are ready to kind of die or fade away, let go of. If you don't like that kind of wording or imagery, just a time to release, shedding any identities, any kind of outer layers that obscure the true you. So let those pieces fall away. We know that a lot of those dead things can be composted and serve new life, new ideas. So letting that cycle, a natural cycle, death, life, letting it be as it is, letting go of your control or needing things to be any which way. You are more than welcome to stay and keep resting as long as you'd like. Eventually, we'll reawaken with some gentle movements, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. You could reach into a long body stretch. Eventually, working your way into the fetal position on either side, tucking, bending your knees. At the bottom of a nice long exhale, start to press your way up to a seat. Joining hands at heart center. Take a moment just to recall your intention if you set one today. Notice if you'd like to hold on to it or if you're ready to let it go for now. Either way is just fine. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May we have peace in our actions, peace in our words, and peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center here. Let's take a bow forward together now. Peace.